Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So let's go through a few more practice questions for Microsoft certification AZ-900. Your organization is planning a new project and want to estimate the cost of this implementation. Which tool do you recommend? So for this, pricing calculator is the best tool, and it is a cost estimation tool that helps to estimate monthly or yearly cost of services. And if you want to go through the uh, pricing calculator site that is available on Azure, okay, you can log in and you can save your cost estimates. Here you have everything related to your cost estimates. Add to estimate, you can see option, and then final estimation, you can get it. You can calculate your estimated hourly or monthly cost for using Azure. Okay. Data in an Azure storage account is replicated 3 times in the primary region. Yes, the answer is yes. And again, I'll go back to Microsoft Build website here. And within that Azure storage option, if you go there, it talks about your Azure storage redundancy and redundancy in the primary region, secondary region, read access, right? Summary of redundancy options, data integrity. And if you go here, right here, you will see that locally redundant storage. So it talks about replicating your storage account 3 times within a single data center in the primary region. Okay, also go through other options which are available here. Do study them because question can come from any other topic also. So just be thorough with this. Okay. What are Azure availability zones? Okay, so Azure availability zones are nothing but your unique physical locations within an Azure region, which are made up of one or more data centers. And there's a minimum of 3 zones in each region. You can manually place your resources in an availability zone for highest availability. Okay, so this will be option number 1, a feature of Azure that allows you to manually specify into which data center your virtual machines are placed, which allows you to achieve higher availability than any other option. And if you want to go through availability zones, do study about this Azure reliability, and within that you have what are Azure availability zones. Do study about this, and then zonal and zone redundant services, physical and logical availability zones, right? Paired and unpaired regions. Okay, availability zone architectural guidance. Okay, so go through all these literature, and I'll share all the links in the description of the video. What Azure tool gives you the ability to manage multiple subscriptions into nested hierarchies? Okay, so the answer to this is management groups. So management groups is a hierarchy of subscriptions. They can have many subscriptions and group them and put those groups into other groups, right? And if you have to go through more on this, then come to this site. What are Azure management groups? So study about this. Then the hierarchy of management groups and subscriptions, go through this, and then important facts about management groups. This is important. Then root management group of each directory, important facts about the root management group. Then how do you set up initial setup of management groups? Then management group access. So this Azure management group support Azure role based access control for all resource accesses and role definitions. These permissions are inherited to child resources that exist in the hierarchy. Okay, so do study all these, and then you have example, then you have other things, limitations, moving management groups and subscriptions. How do you move? Audit management groups, right? So please do study all these things. Okay, who is responsible for the security of your Azure storage account access keys? Azure is responsible or customer is responsible? So obviously customers are responsible to secure the access keys they are given and regenerate them if they are exposed. Okay, and do read more on this. Manage storage account access keys. Okay, again, how do you protect your access keys? How do you view your account access keys? You can also use Azure Key Vault to manage your access key, manually rotate access keys, create a key expiration policy also you can create. Okay, then if there are any expiry policy violations, okay, assign a built-in policy for a resource scope. Okay, monitor compliance with the key expiration policy. Okay, so do read these again and try to grab all these points. Okay, what is happening actually, because that is the main objective of AZ-900, so that you know the basics of Azure, right? So resources don't inherit the tags you apply to a resource group or a subscription. So yes, this is true. Resources don't inherit the tags you apply to a resource group or a subscription. To apply tags from a subscription or resource group to the resources, you will have to again go to Azure policy tags. Okay. So, and if you have to study more on this, you have this assign policy definitions for tag compliance. So you use Azure policy to enforce tagging rules and conventions. By creating a policy, you avoid the scenarios of resources being deployed to your subscription that don't have the expected tags for your organization. Instead of manually applying tags or searching for resources that aren't compliant, you create a policy that automatically applies the needed tags during deployment. So this is a very important point. And tags can also now be applied for existing resources with the new modify effect and a remediation task. The following section shows example policy definition for tags. So do go through these tags, okay? And here you have effects also. You can modify effect, you can see modify effect, append effect, and then deny effect. Okay, so go through this literature also. Okay. Please select an option to fill in the blank below. A resource group MyRG01 has an Azure Virtual Network VNet A. If you assign an Azure policy that specifies that MyRG01 is not allowed to create update virtual networks, so then what will happen? VNet A will be automatically moved to another resource group, continues to function normally, becomes a read-only object. So here option number C is correct. So basically it continues to function normally. Now remember that Azure policy does not affect pre-applied configurations. So in this case, my RG01 had already, Azure virtual network, right? So it will not be impacted. Okay. It was already created before the Azure policy was created. So it works fine. Okay. With or without the policy. But remember that VNet will be marked as non-compliant when the policy is assigned. However, it will not be deleted and will continue to function normally. Okay, and more on this you can always go through. I think here, what is Azure policy? So Azure policy helps to enforce organizational standards and to assess compliance at scale. Through its compliance dashboards, it provides an aggregated view to evaluate the overall state of the environment with the ability to drill down to the per resource per policy granularity. And common use cases for Azure policy include implementing governance for resource consistency, regulatory compliance, security, cost, and management. Policy definitions for these common use cases are already available in your Azure environment as built-ins to help you get started. Specifically, some useful governance actions you can enforce with Azure policy include ensuring your team deploys Azure resources only to allowed regions, enforcing the consistent application of taxonomic tags, requiring resources to send diagnostic logs to a log analytics workspace. It is important to recognize that with the introduction of Azure Arc, you can extend your policy based governance across different cloud providers and even to your local data centers. Okay, so it is a very good article. Just go through like Azure policy and Azure role based access control, Azure RBAC permissions. Okay, so get acquainted with all these also. Okay, you have managed an app that you developed and deployed on-prem for a long time, but would now like to move it to Azure and be relieved of all the manual administration and maintenance. Which of the following buckets would be most suitable for your use case? So in this case, actually platform as a service would be the most apt thing to do, because what is platform as a service is a complete development and deployment environment in the cloud with resources that enable you to deliver everything from simple cloud based apps to sophisticated cloud enabled enterprise applications. Now, you purchase the resources you need from a cloud service provider on a pay as you go basis and access them over a secure internet connection. And platform as a service includes infrastructure, server storage, networking, and also middleware development tools, BI services, database management systems, and much more. So it is designed to support the complete web application lifecycle like building, testing, deploying, managing, and updating. So this would be the apt option to be relieved of all the manual administration and maintenance. And also, if you want to go more on this, like you can always go through this article, best practices for securing platform as a service web and mobile application using Azure App Service. Just go through this. Okay. Your company is using a serverless application to automate the data registration process. Which Azure service should you use? So the answer to this is Azure Functions. Okay. Now, why Azure Function, or let's say what is Azure Function? It is a serverless platform, first of all, and that allows you to build applications with just code, that is without server settings. You can build event driven applications. User can execute simple work processing applications such as data registration processing simply by setting the execution code in Azure Functions. And if you want to study more on Azure Functions, just go here as getting started with Azure Functions. Azure Functions allow you to implement your system's logic as event driven, readily available blocks of code. Azure charges for bandwidth used inbound to Azure. Okay. So please remember that inbound bandwidth is free. You have to pay for outbound traffic. Okay. So here if you come to bandwidth pricing, so you can see that data transfer in, that is inbound traffic, is always free. Next question. Which tools provides an overview of service issues in all regions and for all service? So the answer is Azure Status. Okay. And if you come here, I'll show you Azure Status over here. So Azure Status is basically a part of Azure Service Health. So Azure, first of all, Azure offers a suite of experiences to keep you informed about the health of your cloud resources. This information includes current and upcoming issues such as service impacting events, planned maintenance, and other changes that may affect your availability. Azure Service Health is a combination of three separate smaller services. First is Azure Status, second is Service Health, third is Resource Health. So Azure Status informs you of service outages in Azure on the Azure Status page. So that is what is asked here, service issues in all regions, right? So Azure Status is the answer. A client of yours is a content creator and would like to be notified via email whenever their course is purchased. Which of the following solutions would be best suited for this automation? So the answer to this is a logic app. And if you come here, what is Azure Logic Apps? Azure Logic Apps is a cloud platform where you can create and run automated workflows with little to no code. By using the visual designer and selecting from pre-built operations, you can quickly build a workflow that integrates and manages your apps, data, services, and systems. Okay. And then this list describes a few example tasks, okay, which you can build using Azure Logic Apps. So as first one, if you see, schedule and send email notifications using Office 365 when a specific event happens. So that is what we are referring here, right? Notified via email when a specific event, like whenever their course is purchased. So go with a Logic app. You want to deploy multiple web servers and multiple database servers in Azure as a security measure. It is necessary to restrict traffic so that only the web server can connect to the database server. Which solution should you use? So here option D is correct answer, network security group. Azure network security groups can be used to filter network traffic between Azure resources within a virtual network. A network security group contains basically security rules that allow or deny inbound and outbound network traffic between resources. So you can specify the source and destination, port and protocol for each rule. Okay, coming over here, if you go and search this network security groups, it tells you first of all what is Azure network security group, why is it being used. Okay, then this article describes the properties of a network security group rule, the default security rules that are applied. This is very important to understand, and the rule properties that you can modify to create an augmented security rule. Okay, so this is also important. So please do study this article also. I'll leave the link in the description. Which of the following is not part of zero trust? Okay, so first of all, let's go to zero trust security. So when we come to zero trust security, you see that guiding principles of zero trust. So it is mainly based on these guiding principles: verify explicitly, use least privilege access, and assume breach. Okay, so here if you see assume breach and use least privilege access, these two are part, and the other two, these are not a part of zero trust. Always encrypt or secure explicitly. So this is the answer. A resource group can contain resources from multiple Azure regions. Yes, resources from multiple different regions can be placed in a resource group. The resource group only contains metadata about the resources it contains. So the answer is true. And here, if you come, what is Azure Resource Manager? Here you can go. First of all, what is Azure Resource Manager? What is consistent management layer? Right here is the Azure Resource Manager. All capabilities that are available in the portal are also available through PowerShell, Azure, and client and SDKs. So just try to read all this. What is the terminology? What is a resource? What is a resource group? What is a resource provider? Right? So try to understand all these terminologies. It will be useful in the future also. Then the benefits of using resource manager. So these are the benefits you should know when you are using a resource manager. And then understanding the scope. Azure provides 4 levels of management scope: the management groups, subscriptions, resource groups, and resources. And this is the image showing the example of these layers. So at the bottom is resources, then resource manager, then subscriptions, then management groups. So you apply management settings at any of these levels of scopes. The level you select determines how widely the setting is applied. Lower levels inherit settings from higher levels. Okay. For example, when you apply a policy to the subscription, the policy is applied to all resource groups and resources in your subscription. When you apply a policy on the resource group, that policy is applied to the resource group and all its resources. However, another resource group does not have that policy assignment. Okay. So try to understand this. Then what is a resource group? Resource group is a container that enables you to manage related resources for an Azure solution. By using the resource group, you can coordinate changes to the related resources. For example, you can deploy an update to the resource group and have confidence that the resources are updated in a coordinated operation. Or when you are finished with the solution, you can delete the resource group and know that all of the resources are deleted. Okay. And then there are some important factors to consider when defining your resource group. So this is important. Try to absorb all this. Okay. Resiliency of Azure Resource Manager, resource group location, alignment, resolve concurrent operations. Okay. So this is again another good topic. Okay. Just go through all this. I'll leave all the links in the description. Please go through them. Okay. So that's it, guys. Thank you for your time. See you in next video.